We're getting down to the wire on my sunset soliloquies from this perch in the wider world. I'm moving. I told the landlord I paid the additional deposit he asked for. I put the final payment on the money that I put in the mailbox for this incredible place. These years have been so good for me here and so important and so precious. It's been foggy and it's been smoky. Lots of people I know have nothing left of what was their home. Smoke and ash and insurance claims and bureaucracy ahead of them, and rebuilding in whatever way that's possible. So many artists and thinkers and community builders and people who believe in the earth and the ecology of the earth and the ways that it desperately needs us. They are the ones doing alternative living together, community building together, figuring out their dollars and cents and all the ways that it can come together in all the rickety ways it seems to be built in California for my end of the totem pole. And I don't think I'm leaving California. I can't do that yet. I decided in all this looking and moving about and trying to decide on places, is it the mountains that I go to now? Is it the desert? I don't know what the right answer is. I do know it's a little warmer south, so that's where I'm gonna head. And my home will find me, I think. It always does. Alexa, please turn off. I have to stop being so polite to Alexa or she can't understand me, so Alexa, turn off. I have this place, that I've made into so many things. The first night I slept on this floor because it was the floor that was here. And I woke up and I took a really fabulous picture of myself. And I slept on my roommate's air mattress. So maybe I have an air mattress in my future. And I came to this space after some friends of mine in transformative arts had spent a semester or a time, not even inside the confines and help of the art school we all went to, but we just sort of dreamed up a project called Kuan Yin Rides the Dragon. And that particular semester or time, wherever it was a challenge to us all in such a way that we had invoked something we weren't really ready to ride emotionally, or I don't know. In 2020 though, in COVID life, it felt to me like coming back to her was probably the right thing to do, that it was her countenance and love and calm that might give me the energy I needed to root and ground and find my way. And so she came to live with me. And as as is the way of internet shopping during COVID, so did all these other lovelies. All Kuan Yin energy that comes to me through my big love for that tree, that one tree of her nested in the Nelson Art Gallery where I did the first 4 years of my Saturdays. 4 or 5 or 6. I was young and I was there running around from art room to sculpture to that place where she is. And I don't know who stole the temple and put it in Kansas City. But I found her then, and she finds me now. And so when these beauties came to live with me, the space was not quite big enough for them. And all the growth in the plants I want to keep. That's why I have to move. I have to move because the plants got too big. And the things I wanted to grow from the vegetables I had eaten, rooted and flowered and became something beautiful and too big for its container. And so that dragon my Jorg gave me, when I slept under it when I had only his house to stay in, he gave me a dragon of my own to keep me safe. And my dear friend Joy, she gave me this amazing peace crane from a Japanese arts festival that she invited me to in her beloved Stockton. And so my fire, the fire coming out of my dragon in sunset time is made of peace cranes. And that's the prayer, with the depth of compassion that bodhisattvas come to learn and do and be in the world while we're all still figuring it out, how to love one another. That was the only commandment ever given throughout religious history, no matter what brand it was. Love one another, love one another, love one another. But while we're using authority in such perverse ways in the world, the bodhisattva has a long time to sit and be in the world, waiting, till we all get it, none of us get it, And she comes and says, okay, I'll hang out with you while you figure it out. And I have some friends, I swear to all the things there are, they really are bodhisattvas in their human embodiment, and sometimes I can see that in them. I got to travel saltwater, I got to travel the pomegranate in the first edition of Symbolic Process, and I got to travel saltwater. And as I show you this, the thing I can't show you properly because the camera won't do it, this beautiful red ball on the horizon, getting ready to disappear into the fog layer of what seems to separate the perceptions of the edges of the world. We know because we know things. We know because somebody got in a boat and sailed all the way to where the edge was supposed to be and kept on sailing. That there's a ball we're on. There's a magic to this earth, air, fire, water combination of both the fury in the molten core of the earth and the vents that shoot that, Is it anger? Is it what are eruptions from the center of the soul of the earth that come up through that blanket of salt water and become salt? And something in that combination allows for the life of all living things to somehow crawl out of that soup. Not weaponized, but living and giving, that stone soup kind of thing that becomes us if we are here together. I wanted, I think, maybe I told you, maybe I never did. Last year I bought this tree and I intended it as the last tree I was going to buy for the holiday season. And so I intend to grow old with it, my chosen partner. And this poinsettia, poinsettia, I don't know how to say your name properly, but I hope over the years that she will get to grow into a tree that will live with me. And I will have one poinsettia and one tree that can be decorated with all the regular things. And one home somewhere in the world that's mine until I die. These are the relationships I am making. And this is these are my dead people. The father I come from, and the fathers my mother, my grandmother come from. The men and women in my life on the other side of it. And those spirits I got to work with while I lived here. Because the ocean was big enough to help me with anything we had to get rid of. See, I intend in my time to help those women I come from who have stuff left to complete around racism or authority. I help those spirits I am my part of, my living part of. Whoever died and shattered into love and figured out they'd lived their life in such a way that they were so wrong about people and skin. I am breaking the chain of that in my lifetime. I'm not passing that on. And my daughter has a different skin. And I don't know who of my children, if I have children who are going to procreate, I don't know that now. But I know those grandbabies, should they come, they will not be raised in racism. Not at home, they won't learn it there. Doing power of a living life. If the dragon is racism, how does Kuan Yin ride it? With love and compassion in such a way that people get to be born into a peace crane breathing dragon. These are the myths of my existence as I make them up in ways that they can serve the me I want to be. My teacher, my symbolic process teacher, had this piece come through her. And I should turn on some light so you can see it better. But I don't think I have the right lighting. And it is going to look foggy in the camera because it does. And she gave it to me and asked me if I would work with it. And we're doing some work together to get her books out of her and into the world. And every day since I brought it home, I'm writing. I'm sitting, I'm writing, I'm looking, I'm feeling, I'm questioning, I'm considering, I'm looking there at the blue-green marble of the earth, inside the sacred geometry of plane after plane of true existence, of real heart and holiness and home. Do you see the face of the mother in the blurry of my blurred photography? Do you see the divine in any of it? This truth that's been known for centuries about this life we live and where we live it, and how precious it is, and how fleeting and how eternal the experience of the breath, the time in the body, the treasure of the earth, how we shatter into stardust and become light for years and years and years and years before anyone can ever see us in a form. You see the crystals forming. What's come through her for the earth. But she calls it prayers. Prayers for the earth. It's what she's made. And this isn't even the thing that came through her. This is the print of the thing that came through her, with all its sacred geometry and meaning and truth and representational reality and imagined stories, because that's what they are. All stories are imagined. The fact of the piece, this now 69-year-old teacher traveled through the coronavirus moment of the earth. And through that moment and this teacher and the willingness to show up with the tools that she has, the paintbrush, the studio, the canvas, the knowing, the not knowing, the fractal awareness of the expansion of life. Into being some creation. Some way to shift and change the dragon. And this Kuan Yin, the garden, she's the one that grew everything into all the ways it's growing. In the our happy place, this is. My friend who gave me the cuttings that have now grown into little trees, she says she'll babysit the plants while I figure out where I'm going to live. And these are the treasures. Some I'll keep and some I'll let go of. And the few furnishings still here. And the goddess of saltwater, one of her many forms, the tree branches that I brought home and the full and crescent moon that I am doing so much work with. Make more love in the world. That's what I think I'm trying to do. Make more love in the world. Heal broken hearts. Grow new ones. Grow new ones. Grow healing. How do you grow healing in the world? How do you heal your own heart? What happens when you try? What happens when you remember how? That's the nature of the thing, the knowing I will take with me. The way forward to the way out. The only way out is through, Life needs do-overs. And so sometimes when we're lucky and not black and not encountering racist police officers with a hard-on for their own authority, sometimes we get to live long enough to do it over again. Try again at love. Try again at life. And sometimes even those formerly racist police officers come to a Jesus of a common understanding and regret putting their knee on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 43 seconds. Regret getting away with killing Breonna Taylor in her sleep. Regret enough the hate that is so fucking hard to bear. Sometimes they get do-overs too. And inside the doing of over, a little freer from the weight of hate. I still ask the questions of the cards, and sometimes when I ask, what wisdom do you have for me today? They ask a question again, back to me. Who do I dare become? And when it's a question, then I'll ask the mermaids. What do they know that I might become? And today the answer is loyalty. The being that rides the earth, that is loyal to it and its continuance. I have the day my son met the ocean. The baby I made. I took him to the edge of Himalaya. His sister. And we stood together and prayed. My kids don't know we're praying. They just think we're standing and looking at awe and mystery and the source of all life. And my prayers are always gratitude. Thank you for letting me bear a child. Letting me help a man into this world. Thank you for letting that man get to live. Thank you for his sister that got to come. Thank you for his brother we got to adopt. Thank you for letting them live long enough to graduate. Thank you for letting them be living young adult beings. Thank you. Oh, and when I can't hold it by myself anymore, I think of the people who are helping it to hold the space of praise and possibility, joyous freedom, a full expression, including, back down, back off, sit down, stop. The healing of the heart and soul of this nation and every nation, of the split we think there is between black and white, between woman and man, between love and hate. A split in a circle. There isn't a fraction of wholeness. There are fractals. There are ways, there are flat planes of possibility. There are limiting beliefs. To get on the other side of those. And remember, the only ways that win are the ways of love. Unconditional love and radical inclusion. That's what life brings forth. That's what life embodies. She picks every living thing to animate, to give breath to give body to give form, to give formality, to give formalism, to give to. Life gives, keeps giving, keeps giving. The do-overs and the dreams and the possibilities and the please, love one another, love one another, love one another, love one another. All you have to do is love one another as I have loved you. And if you believe it all in love, please, do you still believe it all in love? When you believe in love, you can go anywhere. You can do anything. You can encounter anyone and make them a friend. And listen to the stories and the possibilities and the dreams and the longings of life that lives herself alive in each body, mind, heart, spirit, soul, being. She is not a fractioned humanity. She is whole. A fractal ability to wave and change. To give us the opportunity to do the same. Knowing that she gave me, living with all these Kuan Yins in coronavirus time and paying all the mystery money that arrived to make California rent possible for so long, so alone. I'll take all those lessons and find a little piece of land, maybe a land, maybe a condo in the sand. But whatever the dream in the heart and its being, there is Kuan Yin to lead the way, ever riding the dragon. But her calm has taught me how. The 24th of September. And I'll go home and celebrate my mom's 79th birthday. And when I come back, should I come back, it will be to my very first home of my own that me and the bank will own. And I'll tell you where it is as soon as I know. But I know that prayers are answered. And I know that dreams come true. And I know that I am grateful for every moment of loving I get to do. Thanks for giving me a chance to make a sunset soliloquy while we're still here together on the earth. Your night skies and your full moons and your sweetest dreams.